Matvek, and today I will be discussing disaster management in Russia. Russia's disaster management plan is largely rooted in the Soviet Union system, where civil defense and industrial ministries played a significant role. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the new Russian Federation faced severe vulnerability to natural and technological disasters. So in 1994, the Ministry of the Russian Federation for Civil Defense, Emergency Situations, and Elimination of Consequences of Natural Disasters, or EMERCOM, was founded. Due to Russia's large size and the fact that it spreads over 11 time zones, which can be seen in the photo, federal leaders believed that a centralized approach was the most effective in responding to disaster. Russia also experiences almost every kind of disaster. Russia's implementation pattern is primarily top-down and has a centralized framework. Here, this upside-down triangle is a very simplified model of the top-down framework Russia uses, where the federal government has the most say and does the most for the country. EMERCOM is the main component in Russia's disaster management plan. This means that EMERCOM issues the directives, coordinates the national operations, and oversees the unified state system for emergency prevention and response. Russia experiences both natural hazards and technological hazards, with the two most significant being floods and wildfires. In the past decades, wildfires have become a larger problem due to frozen ground called permafrost. The permafrost has been melting rapidly, and land that used to be too cold or wet to burn is now vulnerable to intense and frequent wildfires. Permafrost also causes technological hazards, as the infrastructure built on permafrost years ago is becoming more unstable as it melts. Planning. Hazard planning in Russia is mostly overseen by EMERCOM, which utilizes national risk assessments, hazard maps, and weather data. The RSCHS system also plays a large role by monitoring threats such as floods and earthquakes, as well as radiation threats. On a federal level, EMERCOM is the primary federal agency and is the most vital part of Russia's disaster management plan. On a regional level, regional governments and local authorities play a much smaller role. They are responsible for some management of shelters and evacuations, but lack the authority to make a significant contribution. Non-governmental organization involvement is relatively limited in Russia compared to other Western countries. The Russian armed forces regularly help with disaster operations, specifically in remote regions. The military plays a vital role to help with disasters like wildfires and floods. Russia is involved in several international disaster management networks, such as the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction. There are two main potential obstacles in effective disaster management. The first is the infrastructure and industrial risk. This goes back to the permafrost, which dates back to the Soviet era. As permafrost thaws due to climate change, buildings, pipelines, and roads built on it become unstable. Scientific studies estimate that a large portion of this infrastructure built in permafrost regions will collapse by mid-century. And here is a picture of Russia, and the different blue colors show different thickness levels of the permafrost in those regions. The other potential obstacle is limited funding and centralized limitations. The gap between the regional and federal funding and management capacity is a huge issue. Local authorities often lack the financial resources, knowledge, and trained personnel to carry out the plans set by the national government. Previous disasters have significantly shaped the framework in Russia today. The wildfires in Siberia have gotten much worse in recent decades due to climate change. These fires have encouraged policymakers to improve federal coordination with forest management authorities and increase EMERCOM's firefighting capabilities. Severe flooding along the Amur River in 2013 urged the Russian government to improve their disaster management plan. A basin-based approach was implemented, which combined automated early warning systems, geographic information systems, and hydrological modeling. This allowed for faster communication and improved data sharing during major flood events. Finally, in 2009, an explosion took place in a Siberian hydroelectric plant. It led to 75 casualties and raised questions about the safety and maintenance of Russian infrastructure. This disaster pushed authorities to tighten maintenance and inspection protocols on hydroelectric plants. And here are the references I used. Thank you so much for watching.